Any popular franchise is bound to have its fair share of knockoff toys. From Robert Cop 2, the furniture of law enforcement, to Gusto Choo Choo's Easy Comedy, the mini train, and of course, who can forget, Dennis. Of course, the Cars series is no exception to knockoff toys either, being an incredibly popular and merchandisable franchise, and something that it's pretty easy to make a knockoff of. Anyway guys, welcome back to yet another video into weird Disney Cars knockoff products. I've been doing weird products on this channel since 2019. This is the 20th episode. I've been wanting to do weird knockoffs for the longest time, and I thought this would be a great time to do it. I could do so many episodes of this series, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for covering weird knockoffs. Of course, me starting to do episodes on knockoffs doesn't mean I'll stop the regular weird products. But yeah, just so you guys know, there might be a few less weird products in this episode than usual, and that's because there is a lot to talk about with each of these weird knockoffs. So, let's get started. The world of knockoff Cars diecasts is an interesting one, and also a pretty dangerous one, apparently, as I'm pretty sure a knockoff Cars diecast set pretty similar to this one was made with some, dangerous materials. I'm not sure, I just remember hearing that at one point. I would not recommend buying any weird products that I discuss in this episode, looking into buying any of them, visiting websites where they're being sold. They are all very, very, very shady. Anyway, though, here you can see we have a 4-pack of speed cars. Yeah, speed cars! Featuring Lightning, Jackson, Cruise, and... something you'll see pretty often with these Cars knockoffs is, putting the decals of one character onto the body of another. Clearly this is Smokey's body, but with the details of Mater on it, and... I'm sorry, that is just the funniest thing to me. But also, side note, the cars that we see here aren't the same as the ones in the box that we see next to them. Look at that. That McQueen is definitely missing his spoiler in the box. None of them have colored-in windows. They look a bit, differently shaped. The wheels are completely different. In fact, the Cruise, Jackson, and Lightning here, I'm pretty sure they're pictures of a different set of Cars knockoffs. Smokey Mater, though, seems the same. Mokey? Smater? Mate Key? What do we want to call him? Another very popular type of Cars knockoff toy is monster trucks. There are so many knockoff Cars monster truck toys out there. In fact, I believe Disney Docket recently reviewed a set of them. And this one has a great selection. These are of a larger scale. You'll also see a lot of these knockoff toys are... a lot of them are remote control, or like the scale an RC car would be. But here you can see a great set of 3 with Lightning. Of course, we also have Cruise, and finally we have Jackson Storm. But wait! Because if you look closer, all 3 of them are McQueen. The McQueen is McQueen, the Cruise is McQueen, even the Jackson is the shape of the one and only Lightning McQueen. These are beautiful. These are absolutely incredible. A running trend you'll see with all of these is just how interesting the boxes are, always using a strange mix of different images and logos and such, and there's always broken English involved. There's never, correct formal English, because this was probably written in another language, and, Google translated back into English. But they do have a Cars 3 logo, although it's definitely not the real one. The last one had the real Cars 3 logo. We've got a picture of Cars 3 McQueen, just as generic art, and a picture of what looks like the walk-around model of Cruise that they drive around Cars Land, and you can see it is an alloy pullback car with light and sound. So don't worry, guys, it has light and sound. Not lights and sounds, though, just one light and one sound. Sorry. There are so many Cars Transformers knockoffs out there, so many that I only picked 2 for this episode, because I knew I could definitely cover more of these in future ones. Almost all of them are McQueens that turn into Transformer-looking robots. And this one just had to be my favorite because of the fact that McQueen's bumper with his huge mouth makes up the chest plate. He's got his huge smile, and I just think that's just classic. Now, the strange thing is that the McQueen in the image there doesn't seem to have the same mouth, and kind of looks like an actual piece of Cars 3 merchandise that came out around 2017, so, you know, I wonder what this looks like when it's in McQueen mode, because it doesn't seem to be that. Another strange thing is the fact that it comes with, actually comes with a remote control, and it looks like even batteries or a charger. The box is great too, featuring, I can't even tell what it says above the Cars logo, unfortunately, but you can see, once again, same stock standard Cars 3 McQueen image, alongside an image of Optimus Prime, I believe that's Optimus Prime, recolored and edited to look like McQueen. That's probably a piece of fan art that they stole, honestly. And you can see it comes from a toy line called Robot Deformation Autobots. You don't transform it. According to the box, you deform it. That's not a good use of words, guys. But once again, a classic case of something being mistranslated, or obviously, oh, we can't use the word transform, so let's use another similar word. Now it's a deformer. Yo, Michael Bay! Get the car deformers in Transformers 6, come on! Okay, so this is another one that I really wanted to talk about. This is a die-cast set, once again from Cars 3. Everything in this video so far has included Cars 3 logo, so they're all recent. Honestly, they all look pretty much the same, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're all made by, like, the same company. But, this one is just so interesting, including a very high amount of characters, with a total of 12 cars, all, of course, from Cars 3. Trust me. The box features generic stock art of Cars 2 McQueen, Miss Fritter, and Jackson Storm, and labels itself as a good partner, which I can't see any other writing. I can't make out the rest of the writing there, but okay then. The pack includes some great characters like McQueen, whose headlights are upside down, Silver Jeff Gorvette, Snot Rod, who is probably the most okay-looking car. You'll also notice that all of these cars have the exact same wheels. That seems to be pretty common with the knockoffs. We then have Dinoco Cruz, who is clearly just using the mold of a Cars 2 McQueen. Speaking of which, the same is true for Jackson Storm. We then have Dinoco Chick Hicks, who, again, is actually pretty okay-looking. He and Snotrod might be the most okay-looking. Then we have Claude Scruggs, Leak Glass number 52, who also looks enough like the character. You know who doesn't, though? Cal Weathers, who reuses the mold for Leak Glass. And his Dinoco logo is even, like, offset. Then we have Ramon, Purple Ramon, who is definitely lacking in detail. Finn McMissile, who's okay. Also, side note, just realized that Ramon has the side details from Yellow Ramon, I think. Finn McMissile is honestly okay. He's missing his headlights. And then we have this beauty right here. This is Doc painted black to be Sheriff. He has a Sheriff writing on the side, but he's Doc. It's incredible. And then finally we have Fillmore, question mark. This is the only one who honestly, like, I mean, clearly it's supposed to be Fillmore, but it's red. It has completely different detailing on the side. I don't know what they were going with here. For the rest of these, you could tell at least who it was trying to be, but for Fillmore here, I don't really know what's going on, but I mean, these are incredible. Come on. And finally, for today, this next one is absolutely classic. Now, I'd like you to, for a moment, imagine a hypothetical. At first, this might not seem relevant to the rest of the video, but trust me, it is, okay? Imagine the final battle of Avengers Endgame. Captain America is standing there, one man against Thanos' giant army. All of a sudden, he hears a voice, and then a giant portal opens up behind him, and through it walks Spider-Man. Then another one, but in this one is Batman. Then another portal with Superman. Then the Blue Power Ranger walks out. After him, none other than Shrek himself. And finally, one last portal opens, with Lightning McQueen inside. The heroes all boldly stand behind Cap, ready to take on the army. As Captain America grits his teeth, he says one thing. Sense of right alliance? Assemble. This is the Sense of Right Alliance. Something that I'm sure some of you have probably already seen. It's a pretty famous knockoff toy, which features an incredible array of copywritten characters, forming, I guess, a super team called the Sense of Right Alliance, which is great, because, you know, they all have the proper sense of right, compared to the Sense of Wrong Alliance. Those guys are bad news. This particular pack includes a blue Lightning McQueen, the blue Power Ranger, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man without his spider logo, and Shrek, who's just the complete wrong shade of green. Out of all of these characters, I mean, McQueen's blue. Like, at least Shrek is still green, but this is just Rusty's McQueen in blue. And, I mean, that's incredible. As you can see up top, there's just this incredible DeviantArt-esque collage of, like I said, copywritten characters with a mix of screenshots from the movies and miscellaneous copywritten images. We have McQueen, we have Superman, we have Shrek with Donkey, Mr. Incredible, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man suit, as well as the black suit. The red Power Ranger looks like the Christian Bale Dark Knight trilogy Batman. And then I want to say this is the Ninja Turtle design from the 4Kids show. You could even see Splinter back there, but I don't think I can make out all four of them. And these make up the Sense of Right Alliance. But this isn't the only Sense of Right Alliance toy. In fact, there's another pack which swaps out the blue Power Ranger and blue McQueen for a yellow Power Ranger and yellow McQueen, but keeps the rest of the characters the same. There's also another version with a green Power Ranger and the symbiote suit Spider-Man, and several other ones that don't include McQueen and have other characters. It's incredible. Sense of Right Alliance has garnered quite the cult following online, with a bunch of fan art, like this great comic book covered inspired piece by Matthias Soto on DeviantArt. There are a bunch of fake movie posters. I especially like this one that was posted to Reddit. Sense of Right Alliance. When justice calls, not even copyright laws can stop them. And just bonus points for the guy who credited all of the actors who play the characters. Mike Myers, Christian Bale, Andrew Garfield, Henry Cavill, Owen Wilson. That's so good. That's so good. There's quite the following for Sense of Right Alliance, and it's been so hard for me to film this segment without absolutely cracking up. So I think I'm going to end it here. Honestly, I would love to do an entire video on the Sense of Right Alliance. I don't usually set like goals, but I'll say this. If this video gets to 50 likes, I will do an entire episode of my Have You Heard Of series about the Sense of Right Alliance, because I think it's really worth talking about. So, if you want me to do that, make sure to like the video. If it gets 50 likes, I will be doing that. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching this first ever episode of Weird Cars Knockoff Products. I'll see you guys next time, probably for a normal episode of Weird Products, but we'll see. Bye now. Hello everybody, and welcome back to yet another video, and to episode 2 of Weird Disney Cars Knockoff Products. You guys really liked when I did this last time, so it's time to look at some more Weird Cars Knockoff toys. And before we get started, I'd like to thank those of you who sent me some images of these knockoffs or informed me of them. Thanks a lot, guys. You've scarred me for life. Let's get started. Let's start off with this 6-pack of characters from 2. Just 2. Up top, you can see a picture of Mater and Lightning. This is actually accurate to their Cars 2 designs. The background is similar to the artwork used for several pieces of Cars 2 merchandise. Even the shape of the card back is accurate. Even the 3 and Up logo is accurate, and it even seems to have a little collect them all style emblem on the bottom, just like the real Cars 2 diecast packaging. If I were to just see this card back, with the exception of the Cars logo being altered, I may believe that this is an actual real Cars product. But one look at the 6 cars included, it is obviously not. Up first, we have Mater here, who looks okay. I mean, you could identify it as Mater. Most notably, he's missing his rear view mirrors. Most notably, he's missing a soul. After him, though, we have this car where I have no clue who it's supposed to be. A Mini Cooper with a Union Jack flag design on their roof, similar to some of the McQueen fans we see in Cars 2. but they have a 6 on their side with a flag sticking out. I thought maybe this was supposed to be like a Miles Axelrod stand-in. I have no clue who this is supposed to be. There's no McQueen included in this pack, so I thought maybe it's a stand-in for McQueen. I have no idea. Up next we have Sheriff, who's definitely seen better days, but is pretty alright looking. Same can be said for Finn and Holly. Honestly, I think they look okay, and Jeff Gorvette isn't that bad. Interesting thing is a lot of these characters have incredibly accurate details to the movies in terms of printing. It's mainly just the coloring and the faces that are off. It seems that that same company made another set of cars for another classic film, Super Racing Race 3 Driven to Win. With some artwork from Cars 3 Driven to Win at the top, a picture of Cruz at the bottom saying, "New style, collect them all." Included, we have a whopping 12 cars with Sheriff, Finn McMissile, and Holly. Once again, Holly is in a different color here. Ironically, Holly on the other knockoff toy had a color more accurate to her movie counterpart. This one's closer to the diecast. We then have Carla Veloso. It seems her World Grand Prix logo has been changed to say, like, World Racing or something. Then we have what seems to be Radiator Springs McQueen in the very wrong shape. We've got Jeff again, looking a bit more like his normal diecast. The King, who looks like he got squashed. A Cars 2 McQueen. Oh, wait, sorry, it doesn't say a World Racing Prix. It says Super Racing, which is the name of the product, I guess. It's in the Disney Pixar spot on the logo. This Mini Cooper has returned in a different color. We then have this guy. I don't know who he is. I'm gonna call him Richard. Looks like a Richard to me. Let's move on. We have a police car who looks eerily similar to my custom police character, Patrick Pace from Cars Adventures. And then finally, we have Mater, who's pretty similar to that other set's Mater toy. Available for sale on Amazon, which I would not recommend buying this, trust me, is this beautiful Lightning McQueen balloon from a set of several balloons. While the other balloons look like they could be real products with the exception of a yellow convertible Sally on one of them, this McQueen is very clearly not McQueen. I mean, all of them are knockoffs, clearly. But this McQueen is the most obvious knockoff. Racing for number 88. This is just an incredible design. And my favorite thing I've noticed about it is that it doesn't actually have eyes. The eyes are two drivers inside of the car wearing blue helmets with black visors. That's kinda genius. There's a lot of hauler knockoff merchandise out there. I guess just because a lot of kids want a way to be able to transport cars around, there's a need for it. Car carrier toys are very popular, so of course there are going to be knockoffs. This one is really interesting to me, and is honestly kinda cool. Also, with Cars 3 Driven to Win logos on it for some reason, this is clearly meant to be Gail Buford with some very strange designs on her, especially with the hat. What is up with the hat? We have a Piston Cup logo on the hood. It's a very interesting design. It's clearly not the character, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. The wheels look kind of awful, though. The interesting thing about this to me is the fact that the hauler on the back is actually like a Tupperware container. And I'm sorry, but that is really smart. And now I've just noticed the Hudson Hornet Piston Cup logo on the box for some reason instead of the normal Piston Cup logo. But, like, this is a very smart product design, although I'd assume they stole it from somewhere. Where this gets even odder to me is the car selection included. As you can see, half of Gale holds 6 cars, and it seems 6 cars are included. McQueen, regular Cruise with Dynaco logos for some reason. Jackson, McQueen, regular Cruise with Dynaco logos for some reason. And Jackson! But Disney cars aren't the only ones getting knockoff haulers. As you can see here, Batman has his very own knockoff hauler, which comes with 6 different versions of the Batmobile from all over the Batman franchise. I see the Adam West version. I believe up top next to it is from the George Clooney Batman Forever. We've got the Michael Keaton Batmobile, the Ben Affleck Batmobile, the Tumbler, and another one. I'm not quite sure what that last one is next to the Keaton Batmobile. And yeah, it's a pretty nice hauler. Now, when Drift King Reviewer first sent me this, I was very confused as to why I was being sent a Batman product. But, as I'm sure some of you may have noticed by now, this Batman hauler has a giant Jackson Storm logo on the side for some reason. It has the giant Jackson Storm S. I have no clue why, but that's incredible. This is a Batman hauler with the Jackson Storm logo and the logos for the rest of the Justice League. That too. And finally, these two beauties. As reported on by an old Take 5 Day article, you are looking at Tumbling Car with a grand total of 12 wheels each, which allows them to tumble. These guys have sirens, razor sharp teeth. As you can see, they are from Racing, which is just the Rust-eze logo. There's just a picture of Mac in the background for some reason. They advertise having turning 360-degree somersault with icy sound. And finally, flashing lights. Flashing lights. Man, that's my favorite song by The Week. At the bottom, you can see specifications, colors, and contents may vary from illustration, I'd assume. I don't know if this is a watermark at the bottom of the screen or part of the box, but it is cutting off part of the wording. This right here, this is beautiful. I especially love the very pointy teeth. I'm kind of scared of seeing these when I wake up in the morning. I think these are my sleep paralysis demons, guys. And there you have it, guys. This has been another round of weird Disney Cars knockoff products. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know which of these weird knockoffs was your favorite, and what other regular Weird Products episodes you guys would like me to do in the future. I want to make Weird Products a more frequent series than it currently is. And there are still so many weird Cars products out there, so many more weird knockoffs as well. They just keep on coming out. There are so many old ones for me to talk about. I'm really excited for the future of the series. So if there are any specific Cars characters or Cars item types you'd like me to talk about in the future, definitely let me know in the comments. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye now. Up next, we got a pretty cool hauler for Batman, including 6 versions of the Batmobile from all over the Batman canon. We've got the Jerry. Who's Jerry and when did he play Batman? Where did that come from? Hello everybody and welcome back to Weird Disney Cars Knockoff Toys, Episode 3. Now I know I said that the next Weird Products episode was going to be Part 2 for Weird Backpacks. That's still coming, but, you know, Weird Cars Knockoffs, I sort of consider it like a side series, kind of different from Weird Products. So the next regular Weird Products episode will be on more backpacks, but until then, we've got some more Cars knockoffs to look at, so let's get started. What better way to start the episode than with some more knockoff diecasts, these being made by the same guys that made this wonderful pack in the first episode. And you'll notice that many cars in this pack share molds with cars in that other pack, and the McQueen is actually reused from that first pack. The McQueen who, of course, has his headlights flipped upside down. But right under that McQueen is probably the funniest car in the pack. This is a female Cal Weathers reusing a World Grand Prix McQueen mold. This just kind of looks like somebody's car's OC. Please do not steal. Of course, in the last pack, Jackson and Cruz both used World Grand Prix McQueen molds. It's just really funny to see all the things that combine to make this wonderful Cars knockoff right here. We then have Mater, who doesn't look that bad. Like I've said before, some of these guys honestly don't look that bad. Most of them get the characters pretty well. I wouldn't say Mater here looks good, but it's not the worst thing. Same goes for Jeff Gorvette, who there was a silver version of him in the last pack, and I believe we looked at this exact knockoff of him in a different pack in the last episode. All these packs seem to be made by the same people, just packaged in different ways. Then we have Chick Hicks, Bobby Swift. Bobby Chick? Swifty Hicks? I don't know what you want to call him, but it's great, isn't it? Once again, spot on octane gain decals, just slapped onto the mold of Chick Hicks, which just is ridiculous. We then have this Finn McMissile. Now, Finn was honestly one of the better looking cars in the last pack, Oh my gosh, I just realized that the tagline underneath Good Partner is with children as they grow. A good partner with children as they grow. Anyway, this Finn's color scheme is way off, whereas the other pack had a Finn that honestly looked okay. Then we have Nigel Gearsley, who again doesn't look that bad. And then we have the King. The King, whose Dynaco logo just slipped all the way down his hood. Okay. We then. I didn't see that Doc was cross-eyed. Hold on, wait, this is incredible. Look at. Not as good as Sheriff Doc from that other pack, but really, really great. And once again, the decals are pretty accurate. We then have Yellow Ramon, whose eyes are on his eyebrows. And then we have Brick Yardley. When I first saw this, I actually thought it was accurate because I thought it was James Clean Air, but no, it's not. It's Brick Yardley on James Clean Air's mold. which isn't as bad as some of the other things here, but it's still not right. And then finally, we have a very toned down Fillmore. Really didn't go all out with those decals on him, and he probably has the least accurate decals of these, because like I've been saying this whole time, most of these guys have decals that are pretty accurate to their movie counterparts. Even the words are right, but not Fillmore here. This next pack of cars honestly doesn't look that bad. Sorry for the low quality images. A lot of these it's hard to get good images of, but honestly they look pretty good. Like, I'd say Danny looks pretty accurate to his regular diecast. Of course, I would not recommend trying to purchase any of these. Some diecasts very similar to these included lead in them, and of course that's not good at all. But these don't look that bad. Gotta love how Cruz doesn't have the Dynaco logo on her, though, and instead just straight up has the Cars logo on her. That's incredible. Some of you may have seen this one before when you were younger, as it was featured on a Blue Collection video back in 2012. This is Lightning McQueen from the hit movie Funny Car King. Yes, my favorite movie, Funny Car King. As you can see, he has the famous Toys Medicated Rusty's logo on his side that Lightning McQueen has, and he features pictures of Flo, Mac, and the town of Radiator Springs on his box, while the other side features images of the King, Flo, Mac, and I don't know who this guy is. I'm pretty sure he's Mater. This guy, let me tell you, has some sick dance moves, okay? When you turn him on, he lights up, his eyes move inwards and outwards, and the song he dances to, honestly, kinda slaps. Up next, we have this wonderful Sally from a Take 5 a Day article from all the way back in 2009. This thing that's meant to resemble Sally is clearly just a Volkswagen Beetle with some piston cup stickers slapped on the side, as well as a car logo. Not cars, just singular car. I love how it's still in the same font, though. She's racing for number 68, has Lightning's famous stickers, lightning bolt stickers on the side, and has some really nice newfangled tires. I also love the incredibly strange Rusty's knockoff logo at the bottom that says Rush Soa, Soul Stirring, Superpower. They've even edited the Rusty's logo on the side of the box to say that. I wonder if that's on her hood as well. I can't quite tell what's on her hood. This is an RC car, and that's something you'll notice about most of these cars. For whatever reason, they're RC, or they have lights and sounds and move around. I don't know why so many of them are like that. I guess it was just easy to make back in the day. Nowadays, you see a lot more knockoffs of regular-sized diecasts just to throw off people who don't know what they're buying their children. Probably the most impressive thing about this, though, is the Photoshop work on the packaging. Again, they changed the actual Rusty's logo to Rush Soa, and they edited an image of Sally to match the toy they made. Heck, they even changed McQueen in the corner to say Rush Soa. LEGO is no stranger to knockoffs. In fact, I'd say they're probably one of the most frequently knocked off toy companies. you can find knockoff Lego sets for basically any Lego set in existence nowadays. And pretty recently, they had to take a company called Lepin to court for creating illegal bootleg Lego sets, like this one from Star Wars. Of course, since there have been several Cars Lego sets throughout the years, there are also bound to be several Cars Lego knockoff sets. For example, take these Cars 3 Racing Speed Racer sets. These are honestly incredibly accurate knockoff Lego sets. Now, I would not recommend you go out and buy those, or again, anything else I talk about in this series, since they are probably of very, very poor quality, but the builds are nearly identical to Lego sets, as are the boxes. Of course, the Lego and Junior's logos are missing and have been replaced. There's no Disney or Pixar logo alongside the Cars 3 logo. And although the sets themselves seem to be pretty accurate to LEGO's official sets, if you look closely, you'll start to notice that not every piece lines up. Although it may seem like these guys were able to create basically any piece LEGO can make, you might notice that these specialized windshield pieces made for Luigi and Mater have been replaced with regular slanted bricks here with prints on them. The 2x3 tile of Mater's iPad with Lightning on it is a 2x4 in these, and Lightning's back with his spoiler, which I believe was a specialized Junior's piece created for the Cars 3 sets, has been replaced with a generic 1x4 tile. In addition to these 4 sets, they actually made the rest of the LEGO Cars 3 sets first wave, and actually made more than just them, creating single sets for every single car that they made, which is something LEGO themselves didn't do. And in these bigger sets is where the cracks start to show. For example, Broadside very clearly isn't using the official LEGO build and is using a different windshield piece instead of the one they officially made for her. Smokey looks awful, and again, isn't using the actual pieces made for him. And they straight up replaced Junior Moon in one set with Sheriff. But still, for the most part, especially with these 4 smaller sets, these look nearly identical to their original LEGO counterparts. And I know that's not usually what we talk about in this series, and there are a bunch of weirder, crazier looking, weird LEGO Cars knockoffs, which I'll talk about in the future. But I wanted to end this episode by discussing these because, unlike most of what we talk about in this series, these really do look nearly identical to the original item. And I'm sure that Racing Speed Racer has confused many a grandma at Christmas time. And there you have it, guys. Another episode of Weird Disney Cars knockoff toys. The world of weird knockoff toys is something that's always fascinated me and something that I've always found so funny. Just seeing how these scummy companies try to get around the fact that they legally can't produce toys based off of these things and end up with things like Rush Soa. It's honestly so funny to me. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Play me out, Funny Car King! I could listen to that for hours. I absolutely love making episodes of Weird Products, getting to take a look at some of the strangest official Cars merchandise out there. It's always so funny to see what weird choices are made on official Cars toys, but knockoff merchandise, well, that's a whole nother story. If you think that regular Weird Products are strange, imagine what a Cars item would look like if you legally didn't have the rights to Cars. Yeah, it gets a little crazy around here. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Weird Disney Cars Knockoff Products. This is my 4th episode of Weird Products covering knockoff toys. It's been quite a while since I've done one of these. I wasn't really sure for a while if I wanted to do a 4th one. I thought I was fine with just 3, but I've been working on a lot of bigger video projects recently, and I thought it would be fun to kind of take a break from those and just make fun of some Cars bootlegs. So, let's get started. The first item I want to talk about today is one that I found on AliExpress, and honestly, it's rather convincing until you look closer. For starters, the box design is pretty solid. As somebody who knows Cars merchandise very well, I know that it's not an official piece of Cars merchandise, but it does follow a lot of the typical design aesthetics that you might see on Cars products, especially those from around the time Cars 3 came out. But as I said before, when you look closer, the cracks start to show. For example, as per usual, since they can't use a Disney Pixar logo, they replace it with something else. Alloy series. I assume this is them claiming that the McQueen is made of a metal alloy. After all, the tagline is, "Alloy back to the car toy." Eminem's been real quiet since that one dropped. Replacing the Disney Pixar logo with something that describes the toy's material is just really funny to me. But I find it so strange that these knockoff toys always put something in place of the Disney Pixar logo. Obviously, they can't use it for legal reasons, but they always put other words there instead of just removing it. It feels like they know people are going to think this is a knockoff when they see it and will try to look for the Disney logo, so they put something in its place. But they don't expect you to look at it for more than a second, or else you'll realize that it's not from Disney Pixar, it's from Alloy series, and then their entire operation is blown. Feels like self-sabotage to me. Just like the box, the McQueen itself is honestly pretty good until you look closer. Obviously, the most apparently weird thing about this McQueen is the roof rack and the tire. That's just not supposed to be there. I don't know why that's there. But if you ignore that and you look at this McQueen without looking at the roof rack, it's honestly pretty good for a bootleg McQueen. He even has Lightyear tires. Granted, they made Lightyear 2 words instead of 1, but you know what? That's better than most. But you know what word they didn't get right? Rusties. They never use the word rusties on these toys. It must be another legal thing. Almost always, it's replaced with the word racing. But this one doesn't just say racing. No, this one goes above and beyond and says, racing interesting. Modern happy time. I had to record that 3 different times because I could not stop laughing. That's the best thing I've heard all week. Oh, and his Piston Cup logo says racing game instead. I guess if you think about it, the Piston Cup is just one big racing game. My personal favorite type of Cars knockoff toy are these big die-cast multi-packs. They feature so many different characters, and it's so funny to see them try to replicate each Cars character. Sometimes they do pretty well, and then sometimes you get sheer insanity. This specific pack is being resold by someone on Facebook Marketplace from Australia. And just in case you needed confirmation that they're from Australia, they took a picture of this next to a box of Australian full cream milk. Obviously, this was done for scale, but it's nice to have that confirmation. We'll get to the die-casts in just a minute, but I want to talk about the box, which is easily my favorite part of this item. It has a lot of the typical design elements we often see on these things. It uses a Cars 2 style card back with the carbon fiber detailing and the stolen Porto Corsa background. It's from the hit film Super Racing Race 3. We've all seen that one. That's the one with the racing game. And for some reason, it features the logo of the Cars 3 video game Driven to Win. For some reason, this logo is used really frequently on bootleg Cars toys, and I don't get why, but I trust them. After all, this is the best gift for children. But easily my favorite thing here is something that I've never seen on any of these other knockoff toys. They took the RSN logo and replaced it to say hot. It's so funny to me that they were like, you know what, we need a buzzword on the box. We need to show everyone it's a hot product. And instead of just writing hot, they stole another Cars logo and made it say that. You know what? As payback for this, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to take a product with the word hot in it and replace that with the RSN logo. What was the point of this again? I'd assume these same logos always being used is because these knockoffs are made by the same few companies. After all, a lot of these diecasts and these multi-packs are reused. That Jeff Corvette is identical to one we've seen in the past episode. We've seen this Mini Cooper before in a few different colors and a few different packs over the course of this series. Strangely, it doesn't seem to be based on any particular Cars character when all the other diecasts are. Other than that, we have some okay-looking main characters. Jackson Storm's color scheme is quite off. It honestly reminds me of the really bad Jackson Storm that LEGO made in 2017. There's Finn McMissile, who looks weirdly squished, like out of scale compared to the other characters. Holly looks fine from what we could see of her. She's pretty much covered by McQueen. Fillmore, hilariously, has the word peace that's written on his side, written huge on his roof, and he also has the Team 95 sticker from Cars 2 for some reason. McQueen and Carla are both fine. They have those bootleg World Grand Prix logos we've talked about before. Then we have this car, who I thought might be Lieutenant Lightning McQueen from Mater Private Eye, but I think it might just be Sheriff. What do you see in this image? The top half of a Mater toy. For the record, it is a bootleg toy. And you might be wondering, why am I not showing the rest of it? Well, that's because the rest of it is the absolute definition of overkill. Cars monster truck knockoff toys are very common, but this Mater has to have the most ridiculous size difference between the car and the monster truck base that I've ever seen. Mater looks so tiny compared to the wheels. This is what Mater would look like on car steroids. They also have a monster truck cruise, and she looks like she's seen some stuff, man. Is she okay? In the first episode of Weird Knockoffs, we talked about this Lightning McQueen Transformer. Transformers Lightning McQueens are a surprisingly common bootleg Cars toy. And while this one featured an edited image of Optimus Prime as Lightning McQueen, the one I want to talk about today features Bumblebee instead. From Racer 3, it's 95 Mech Mode Deformations Rotobot Top. You guys couldn't even spell robot right, that's just embarrassing. I also absolutely love that the age rating and the fact that this has lights and sounds is combined into the same section, so it says 3+-year-old sound and light. It just makes it sound like there's been sound and light in there for 3 or more years. But hey, look, it's the actual Rust-eze logo, so that's gotta count for something, right? The toy itself looks pretty iffy. Look, I'm not a big Transformers fan, but the face does look enough like Bumblebee to me. I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually another character, though, and they stole it. Speaking of which, the edited image of Bumblebee as Lightning McQueen at the bottom of the box is honestly incredibly impressive, and I would also not be surprised if it's just stolen fan art. This is apparently what it looks like in vehicle mode, although this image is obviously a render compared to the actual photo of the toy that the robot mode appears to be. While most of these bootleg Transformers use the regular robot heads, one knockoff had the guts to give their Lightning McQueen Transformer Lightning McQueen's face. This right here, people. Take it in. Take it in. I know. Humanity has peaked here. Racing Car Super Robot claims to have 3-in-1 action, which is strange because Like, what's the third form? There's McQueen. There's it transformed into a robot. What's the third one? Also, why does it include small versions of McQueen and Mater? I've seen bootlegs do this all the time, where they just throw in random additional items. I'd assume that's why McQueen and Mater are here. I assume they also don't transform because, I mean, look at them. They just look like regular bootleg Cars toys. McQueen is number 85, which is pretty funny. But as I said before, this item is advertised as a 3-in-1, and I'm starting to wonder if by that they don't mean that the robot can turn into 3 things, and they just mean that it includes 3 items. That would be insanely stupid, but I wouldn't put it past these people. Look at what they made. Actually, if you look very closely, you can tell that they just repainted the head of a Transformer, once again looks like a movie Bumblebee, and gave it the McQueen eyes. But whatever you do, don't insult this thing too much. I hear it wants to fight. You know what else is super popular? Haulers. Like this one of Gail Buford, where you drive over her eyes. I'm sure that doesn't hurt at all, and I'm positive it won't obstruct her driving. I would assume this folds back up into the hauler when you're not driving. If not, then I'm sorry, Gail. I'm very sorry. I would tell you more about this item, but the only pictures I could find for it online are incredibly warped and distorted. And as funny as that makes the pictures look, there's really not all that much I can say. So how about we look at this Mac? Hey, wait a minute, that's not Mac, that's just Gail Buford again! There is something so inherently funny to me about taking a Gail Buford and turning her into Mac. It shows you how reused and recycled all these knockoff items are. They couldn't even make a Mac, and that's really funny to me. And while it looks really ridiculous to have Gail Buford designed like a Rust-eze hauler, the more I look at it, the more I kind of like this design. Like, am I crazy? Or does this actually kind of work? If you ever wanted to see a next-gen Rust-eze hauler, here you go. It's just within the realm of knockoffs. Alright, so far we've looked at knockoff RC cars, die-casts, monster trucks, transformers, haulers. What's left? Oh right, nightmare fuel! Lightning McQueen has arms. Lightning McQueen has arms. Lightning McQueen has arms!
They gave him arms. They gave him big, goofy Mickey Mouse gloves. He's doing peace signs with both of his hands. He has a cowboy hat. I am at a complete loss for words. I genuinely don't know what to say. So instead, I'll show you something. Because it turns out that this car has lights and sounds and dances to the Levin polka. And you know what? If all of that still isn't good enough for you, then don't worry, because you could get one themed to Despicable Me too. And there you have it, guys. Another look at the strangest Cars knockoff toys that the internet has to offer. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm very excited to bring back this series, and I hope to get another one out soon. Thank you all for standing by and waiting so patiently for this new episode of Weird Cars Knockoff Products. I'm very excited for some future episodes. Doing this has really reignited my love for looking at insane knockoff toys. So, thank you all so much for watching once again, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.